UFC 272, Covington versus Masvidal just took place, and I'm going to go through the entire card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event, giving my reaction and breakdown to every single fight on the card, and my overall event recap as well, because this card might have been one of the dirtiest cards of all time in terms of fouls. However, it was still a very entertaining card with many great fights on there. So let's start straight away with the early prelim opener of Dustin Jacoby versus Michal Oleksiejczuk. I scored this fight for Dustin Jacoby, a very competitive fight, however, a good fight over the 3 rounds. They both completely gassed after the first round. Michal Oleksiejczuk, I think, just gassed in his own way, and Dustin Jacoby apparently had some leg injuries. He didn't throw a single kick nearly the entire fight, other than one head kick at one point, which completely missed. But Dustin Jacoby won the fight based on the last 2 rounds. I said he would win this fight 29-28 based on the last 2 rounds, and he got the job done. He had takedowns where he needed them. The first round went to Michal Oleksiejczuk, landing some really big shots upstairs, some really good shots to the body as well, and then Jacoby came back in the second and third to do what he needed to do to out-hustle Michal Oleksiejczuk for the win in those rounds. Not really an amazingly impressive performance, but if he really was injured in his legs, which is the reason why he didn't throw any kicks whatsoever, which he usually does throw a lot of, and really did outbox Michal Oleksiejczuk across 3 rounds, very impressive, and also a good chin from Jacoby, because Oleksiejczuk landed some really big shots in that fight, so good win from him. Moving on up the card, Devonte Smith versus Ludovit Klein. I picked Devonte Smith to win this one. It was a split decision to Ludovit Klein. I thought he definitely did win the fight. It was very close, but I gave him maybe all of the rounds, in all honesty, but maybe not round 2 or something like that. Round 1 was Ludovit Klein's round. He landed the bigger shots, had Devonte Smith in trouble in certain moments. I like how he was finishing his combinations with a head kick. That seemed to work out for him a lot of times in this fight. He was controlling Devonte Smith against a cage. He was just a stronger man, and that's saying something for a guy who moved up from featherweight, so definitely want to see Ludovit Klein stay in the lightweight division from now on. He looked amazing here. He didn't fade as the fight went on. However, he did fade as the fight went on, but he had great moments in round 3 early on where he hurt Devonte Smith with a front kick to the body and unloaded on him with some vicious combinations against a cage, which I believe won him that fight. But another weird decision. They gave a split decision to Devonte Smith. Very confusing. But I liked Ludovit Klein's performance. Held him against a cage. Wasn't the most exciting fight, but he did what he needed to do to win against a very dangerous guy in Devonte Smith, and got the job done at lightweight, so I want to see him stay there. Good job, Ludovit Klein. Good win. Moving on up the card, Tim Elliott versus Tagir Ulanbekov. Tim Elliott won. I picked him to win this one by split decision, 29-28 against Tagir Ulanbekov. And he won the fight 29-28 against Tagir Ulanbekov, may I say. It wasn't a split decision. However, it really could have been a split decision. It really could have been a split decision. It was a very close fight. I could easily see a judge giving it the other way, but they gave it to Tim Elliott based on the first 2 rounds. I think this was the correct decision that they made. He definitely did win the first 2 rounds, just out-hustling Tagir Ulanbekov, scoring the takedowns where he needed them, stuffing takedowns of Tagir Ulanbekov with some of the most amazing scrambles I have seen in MMA. I mean, the scrambles that Tim Elliott put on Tagir was absolutely ridiculous, but there is so much to talk about in this fight. So, Tim Elliott hurts him badly in round 1, out-hustles him in round 2 in some of the scrambles and some of the total strikes and stuff like that, and significant strikes as well. Tagir has his back in round 3 looking for the rear naked choke. It was a very close fight. However, Tim Elliott's a dirty fucking cheat. I predicted in my prediction for this fight that Tim Elliott is going to use some dirty veteran moves to get the win over Tagir Ulanbekov. So I called this would happen, but he was grabbing the gloves so blatantly, and he wasn't the only one grabbing the gloves on this entire card, because there were many dirty moments as the fights went on. But Tim Elliott was grabbing the gloves, and it was disgusting, and he kept doing it. But Tagir kept showing Khabib that he was grabbing the gloves. This is the weird thing about some of these Khabib-type guys. They live so vicariously through Khabib, and they worship the very ground that he walks on. Tagir, if you are having your gloves grabbed, do not complain. Complain to the referee. Show the referee, he's grabbing my gloves. Do something about it, referee. Why is he grabbing my gloves? Do not show Khabib, this is why I'm losing. Look, he's grabbing my glove. There was so much, authority for him to look over to Khabib between all of these rounds and show Khabib, this is why I'm losing. He's cheating, Khabib, I promise. Khabib was going crazy in the corner, by the way. Really bad corner work by Khabib, if we're being honest. Really emotional, really angry. No clear instructions whatsoever. I don't even speak Russian, but I can tell they were not clear instructions. They were emotional, angry, screaming, insults at certain times, I would imagine. And Tagir Ulanbekov lost that fight. I predicted him to lose this fight. I think he's not very good as a fighter compared to some of the other Dagestani prospects coming up. I called him the runt of the Dagestani litter, and I think it got proven today. However, dirty fucker Tim Elliott, man. Dirty fucker. He grabbed the gloves on multiple occasions. Fuck him. I hate cheaters, and it happened a lot on this card. We'll get to those in a moment. Moving on up the card, Brian Kelleher versus Umar Nurmagomedov. Another great fight. Umar Nurmagomedov got a first round submission. I picked him to win this one in the first round. Made some money on that one. It was like 4-1 odds. Or 1-4. Put down 10. Got back 40. 3-1, something like that. It was ridiculous odds by first round finish, so I just took it because I thought he was going to finish it in the first round. He finished it in the first round via rear naked choke. He had great moments on the feet as well. Kelleher had some moments of takedown defense, which actually showed us a lot about Umar. He's not too dominant in certain positions. He's not just going to completely ragdoll you. If you are a certain level of grappler, you're going to have some success stuffing the takedowns against him. Even Sergey Morozov showed that in his debut, and now Kelleher has showed that you can stuff some of the takedowns from Umar. But here's the problem with Umar, and I said this coming in. Umar ain't really even a grappler. His striking might be better. Head kicks, front kicks delayed to the body, then whips them upstairs and catches you on the chin. I called that he would land some front kicks on Kelleher. One of his most effective moves. Really good straight shots on the feet as well, with really good counter shots with the hands. I mean, Umar Nurmagomedov's striking might be better than his grappling, but he finished it with his grappling, and it was mainly because Kelleher made the brutal mistake of moving his hips from away from the cage. He should keep his hips glued to the cage so Umar can't get both hooks in. This is something Masvidal did against Covington in their fight to stop him getting 2 hooks in on the back. But Umar saw his moment. Kelleher moved his hips away from the cage. Umar might have even dragged him away from the cage to get 2 hooks in, which would be even more impressive. But either way, Umar pounced on it, took the back, took the rear naked choke, and choked out Kelleher as expected. Very good win by Umar Nurmagomedov in the first round. At least one of the Team Dagestan members won tonight. Moving on up the card to the prelims. Marina Moroz versus Mariya Agapova. Very, very bad performance by Mariya Agapova. A good performance by Marina Moroz. But man, I think Mariya Agapova has autism. I think she's got very bad mental disabilities. Even after the fight, she's standing there like honestly, for a solid 5 minutes after the fight's over. They had to manually move her out of the way. I think she's got Down syndrome. I picked her to win. I was wrong. I thought she would easily win this on the feet. She got taken to the ground, and she has no ground game, so no understanding of what to do. She stuffed some positions, ended up not getting submitted early on in the first, but took a real beating in the first round. And Marina Moroz eventually put in the rear naked choke. Good win from her. Dominant win from her. She was obviously fighting for a little bit more because of the whole Ukraine situation and stuff like that, so very good for her. She had her moment on the microphone. It was a golden moment. The whole crowd was cheering for the wrong moments. I think at one point she was saying, "My mother is dying in Ukraine," and the whole crowd went, "Yeah!" You know, like they weren't cheering at the right moments of her speech. You know what I mean? But either way, Marina Moroz got the job done by second round rear naked choke. Mariya Agapova doesn't know what an underhook is. Good job, Marina Moroz, exposing Mariya Agapova again. I don't know if I'm picking her anymore. Moving on up the card, Nicolae Negumereanu versus Kennedy Nzechukwu. Wow. Right. I picked Nicolae Negumereanu. I picked him by first round KO because Nzechukwu, for some reason in this fight, had a granite chin, but in other fights has one of the weakest chins in human existence. He got KO'd by an invisible shot against Da Un-Jung. But Nicolae Negumereanu did not win that fight. I'm not saying that Nzechukwu did win that fight. I don't know. It should have been a draw. Negumereanu did get hit by some eye pokes, which did lead to a point deduction in round 3, which means that no matter what Nzechukwu did in round 3, it would have been a draw round, but Nzechukwu did win round 3. He won round 3. 9-9 in round 3. That's a draw round then, with the point deduction. 10-9 without it, 9-9 with it. Round 1 could be Nicolae Negumereanu's round. I haven't watched it back, but it was a very close round. Both guys landed decent shots on the feet. Nzechukwu might have landed a couple of more decent strikes on the feet, but Nicolae got a takedown, had him against the cage, outlanded him in the total strikes in that first round massively. Either way, swing round in round 1. Round 2 is Kennedy Nzechukwu's round. Very close round. Nzechukwu clearly won round 2. The fact that Nzechukwu lost. Not the fact that... No. The fact that Nicolae Negumereanu won is a disaster. Round 2, Nzechukwu. Round 3, Nzechukwu. Round 1, honestly, either way. Either way. Best case scenario, round 1, Nicolae Negumereanu. Best case scenario. Draw. That's what I had scored it. Draw. Didn't know who won the first. Gave Kennedy the second. Kennedy won the third. Draw round. Fucking brutal robbery. And I picked Nicolae. And that is fucking brutal. Fuck the judges. They really messed up Nzechukwu. And they took so long to count. I'm not even above the idea that maybe they messed up the reading of the scorecards. Because Nzechukwu arguably could have won every round. Round 1 toss-up. Maybe Nicolae. Because of the moments that he had. Takedowns and stuff like that. Round 2, Nzechukwu. Clear. In my opinion, close but clear. Round 3, Nzechukwu. The fact that some judge gave him round 3 is such a robbery. It's fucking retarded. That's 2 bad decisions out of 3 fights for Nicolae Negumereanu. And his one finish against DK there was back of the head shots. Dirtiness in his career so far. Moving on up the card, Marina Rodriguez versus Xiaonan. I went with Marina Rodriguez 29. No, I went 30-27 Marina Rodriguez. She ended up not winning 30-27. She won 29-28. I did believe she won this fight. I don't think this was a robbery. Very close again though. I actually said at the end, I got 2-1 Marina, but if they say 2-1 Yan, like it's a close fight. Round 1, definitely Yan Xiaonan's round. Close. Clearly Yan Xiaonan's round. Landed more effective shots. Round 2, Marina was up on the stats live count. I can't check the actual stats on the recount now because the whole screen will blow up and I don't want to move off of this, what I've got now. And the whole screen will fucking go white as the sun. But round 2, I scored Marina Rodriguez with the significant strikes. I thought she landed the better shots in round 2 as well, and she didn't get taken down at the end of round 2 either, which she did in round 1. So I gave round 2 to Marina, but very close. I actually don't even mind if you score it for Yan, but I gave Marina the edge, finished a bit stronger, landed, in my opinion, the more effective shots, even if there were a little bit less of them or a little bit more of them. I thought she did better. Round 3, clearly Marina Rodriguez. Don't think anyone's complaining about that, but very close fight. Good win by Marina Rodriguez. She wants a title shot. I say Ioanni and Jacek. Moving on up the card, Jalin Turner versus Jamie Mullarkey. Very good performance by Jalin Turner. Very good performance by Jalin Turner. He's a threat in a lightweight division, 100%. He's on a win streak right now. He's Kevin Holland sized at lightweight. That's not an over-exaggeration. He's genuinely Kevin Holland sized at lightweight. Maybe half an inch shorter or something like that. Ridiculously massive for the division. I thought Mullarkey was a big lightweight. No. This guy's monstrously massive. I have no idea how he makes weight. Very good performance. Very dominant. Very good first round, scrappy at the start between both of them. Jalin eventually took over in the first, got the job done in the second with a body knee, I believe it was. People were talking about the right hook that he landed. I think it was before that. I think he landed a really good step-in knee that hurt Mullarkey's chest, because as Mullarkey went down, he was hunched over on his chest. I picked Mullarkey to win, but again, glove grabbing. And listen, Elliott got glove grabs and landed a couple of decent shots. Jalin Turner was glove grabbing in the first round, and he blasted knees into the face of Mullarkey with them. He had his fingers hooked in the gloves, and he yoinks Mullarkey to him as he's blasting him with knees. Mullarkey's literally trying to escape it. I believe it was like 3 minutes 50 on the clock of the first round. Both guys are going back and forth on the feet, and that completely changed the direction of the fight. Say what you want. Those knees to the face on Mullarkey that rocked him and opened up that cut on him and busted him up quite badly, they changed the fight. A big body shot afterwards from Jalin Turner. He had his fingers hooked in a glove, and it sucks to see, but that kept happening on this fucking card. There you go. Good win from Jalin Turner, though. Outside of that, very good performance. He got the job done. Both guys are good prospects, but Jalin Turner, bigger, longer, rangier, better, arguably as well, regardless of the glove grabbing. Moving on up the card to the main card. Sergey Spivak versus Greg Hardy. I'm so sorry for picking Greg Hardy. Words cannot describe how sorry I am for doing that to you. I thought he would catch Spivak in the first round. He did not. Spivak dunked him on his head with such ease. Hardy's 30 pounds of muscle bigger than him. He doesn't look that way, but on weight, Hardy cuts from like 270 something or even like, I think he said 290 or some ridiculous amount of weight. And Spivak's like 240 something, I believe, 250 something. And Spivak just dunked him on his head in the first round. It's crazy how good Tom Aspinall is. I know I'm supposed to be talking about the performance of Spivak, which was a first round TKO. Ended up on top, dominated. Hardy had some good scrambles to try and get back up to his feet, but kept getting put back down on the canvas and hit with bigger and bigger shots. But Spivak to dunk him like that, a massive guy. I mean, Spivak is massively improving in his career. Trained a long time for this fight. He's really coming into his own at the heavyweight division. Sure, he lost to Tom Aspinall, but I thought Kelleher was trash when Aspinall destroyed him. Collier's on a win streak. I thought Spivak was garbage when I watched Aspinall completely dismantle him. Now he's won again against a good guy in Greg Hardy and just ragdolled him and destroyed him. I thought that Andrei Arlovski was done after Aspinall beat him. On a win streak again. Crazy Aspinall. I think he beats Volkov, and I'm using all of this evidence to justify that as well. Moving on to another fight on card, and I also like that Spivak spoke English in the post-fight speech. He's making an effort to learn the language, and also showed a bit more personality because of that as well. He had no personality before, he didn't understand language whatsoever. Had some good moments in English at the end of this one. Won over the crowd a little bit, asking for a bonus. Good for him. He didn't get a bonus though. Moving on up the card. Kevin Holland versus Alex Oliveira. I have no idea who got bonuses. Kevin Holland versus Alex Oliveira. Kevin Holland got the job done by second round TKO. I said he would win this one by second round TKO. At the start of the second round, that's when it happened as well. A very good first round from Alex Oliveira. Holland was a little bit jittery out there. Couldn't really find his range. Oliveira was landing some decent shots. Holland was landing good shots as well. It actually came down to the fact that I thought, you know what? 45 seconds left in round one. Pretty close round. I'm leaning Oliveira, but who knows? We'll see who finishes stronger. And Oliveira, of course, gets a takedown, ends up in a good position, and goes for a rear naked choke that wasn't quite in. Holland was good. He was at an angle enough to where it wasn't really squeezing him. And then round two, Holland catches him with a right hook, puts him down badly, finishes him off. I don't know how Alex Oliveira didn't get finished sooner, but eventually Holland switched to some elbows, finished him off by TKO in round two, called out Donald Cerrone. He wants another cowboy. But I don't want the Cerrone fight for him. I want Robbie Lawler, Nick Diaz, Nico Price. I was going to say Chaos Williams, but he just signed a fight against Randy Brown. Some of those matchups. Daniel Rodriguez is another good matchup. I think he called him out afterwards in the post-fight speech. Excuse me. Excuse my French. Moving on to another fight on the card. Very good from Kevin Holland. Not the best performance, let's be real. But he won, and that's all that matters. He's a big guy at 170. He's going to be a threat in that division. And I'm glad he kept his job. That's all that matters to me. Moving on. Edson Barboza versus Bryce Mitchell. Maybe the most impressive performance on the card outside of... I mean, that was probably the most impressive performance on the card. I thought Bryce Mitchell was going to barely eke out a win over Edson Barboza by getting destroyed in the first round and then finding his way on top into the second and third and eventually submitting Barboza in the third. He destroyed Barboza. And not only did he destroy him, he did good on the feet in the first round. Avoided the kicks where he needed to. Got out the way of some of them. He took shin to shin inside leg kicks. Checked them well. Slid out the way of some of the body kicks and head kicks that Barboza was going for. Dropped Barboza with a straight left hand in round one. I mean, side kicks to the body. Oblique kicks he was going for. Great movement. But Bryce Mitchell, in my opinion, was the MVP of the night in terms of what he showed us. Massive improvements in his stand-up. Massive improvements in his grappling control. I mean, he goes from like Andre Fili got up a couple of times to just dominating Barboza on the ground. I know people are going to say, well, it's down a weight class when it's a different time. Barboza's not as young as he used to be. He did better than Khabib. Khabib really struggled in many moments to get Barboza to the ground. Bryce Mitchell had no problem. Double leg, perfectly timed, stuck him to the mat, passed over, or stayed in full guard, stacked up in full guard to make him like hunch over and always have to work to try and defend. Big shots from Bryce Mitchell to the body, to the head, elbows from Bryce Mitchell as well. He had a great performance against Barboza and dominated him every single round. And I would argue there is genuinely an argument for every round being a 10-8. And one judge didn't give him a single 10-8. He took down Barboza. In the first round, they went back and forth for a bit. He dropped Barboza, then took him down and dominated him for the rest of the round. No 10-8 round. Dropped him, then took him down and dominated him. Not just took him down and dominated him. Dropped him first. No 10-8 round. Round two. Destroyed him. First minute of the round. Takes him down. Barboza don't get back up. Big shots from Mitchell the entire round long. No 10-8 round. Round three. Takes him down. Gets on top. Lands the big shots. No 10-8 round. Ridiculous, man. Honestly, I don't know how they didn't give him more 10-8 rounds. Very good performance. Some judges did give him some 10-8 rounds, though. Very, very dominant performance and a good speech afterwards. He wants to give half his money to a children's hospital in Arkansas. I can see Michal having a very good life for himself. You know, I mean, he seems like he's got his head screwed on right. Got his own situation with the land. I'm hoping to do something like that when I get to like 27, 28. So, good for Bryce Mitchell, man. A model guy to follow. And I really like him. He's a good guy. Embedded. Great time on there. He's really promotable. Had a great performance here. Very, very dominant. Almost got a finish in the third round as well. I believe he took Mount at the very end. Had a great little embrace with Barboza at the end and even backstage as well. I like Bryce Mitchell, man. And I like the hype that he brings on the mic. And I think a lot of people are going to rally behind him. So we'll see what's next for him. Very great performance. Great timing on the double legs. I thought he was going to have to like hustle against the cage. But he just timed them in the striking exchanges. Very good from Mitchell. And I like that he gained respect on the feet first. That was big for him. That was very big for him, to gain respect on the feet first. If he just went out there diving for takedowns, Barboza's going to read it and find his way into it, or stuff the takedowns, or land a flying knee. But Mitchell found respect on the feet first. Then Barboza's got to worry about hands. Now he's getting timed double legs in the middle of exchanges. Great performance by Mitchell. Moving on up the card. Rafael Dos Anjos versus Renato Moicano. Very good performance by Dos Anjos. I thought he was going to have trouble early on. It's actually crazy how little this guy has a chance at finishing people. We'll get to the main event in a second. But Rafael Dos Anjos, I thought he was going to finish Moicano in almost every round past round one. Even in round one, I was like, man, he might get a finish here. Didn't finish him. Moicano stayed tough. Found his way back to full guard every time. Stayed alive in that fight. Very good performance by Dos Anjos. And then Moicano starts coming back in round 5. And it's just great to see that kind of stuff. Amazing performance by Renato Moicano. I don't know who got the performance bonuses, but I'm 100% certain that that was fight of the night. 50-50 for both of them. There's no way they don't give 50k to Moicano for what he toughed out there. It easily could have been stopped after the third round. Let's be real. I was actually saying to my chat while we were watching it, if he gets taken down at the start of round 4, throw in the towel. Give him a chance at the start of round 4. If he ends up on bottom, he hasn't been able to work his way back up the entire fight, throw in the towel. You don't need to take this beating. He has one eye, cut all over the place, smashed up his face. I feel like, yeah, they should have maybe thrown in the towel. He showed why they didn't in round 5, because he had some moments where maybe he could have got a finish on Dos Anjos. But Dos Anjos is tough. Tough to finish as well. It's the reason why I picked him to win. Renato needs a finish. He didn't finish Dos Anjos. I didn't think he could finish Dos Anjos. Not many people can outside of Jeremy Stephens, of course. So yeah, Dos Anjos had a great performance. 5-round domination. Maybe you could give the 5th to Moicano. Maybe still to Dos Anjos. Great performance from him. Moving on to another fight on the card. Colby Covington versus Jorge Masvidal. Done a full fight for reaction to this. Very dominant performance by Colby Covington. Very fun fight as well over the 5 rounds. There were moments where it was tense. There were moments where there was a break when they were just on top of each other and Covington was just sort of punching away at him, not really doing too much. But there were other moments where Covington was in good position and smashing Masvidal on the ground with massive elbows and big shots. Masvidal got big brothered out there, man. And there was a moment in round 4 where Masvidal had a big moment where he dropped him to a second to one knee and Covington popped right back up. But other than that, and other than Masvidal sort of going after him after that moment, Covington stayed composed, threw back when he needed to, won the striking exchanges outside of that 4th round moment as well, won the striking exchanges in the 1st round, in the 3rd, in the 5th, in the 4th until that moment. Remember, in the 4th round, Covington is almost finishing Masvidal in that round, which is why I still gave the 4th round to Covington, because I thought he dominated every moment of it outside of that one knockdown that he received. But Covington looked massively improved. There are still holes in his game. He's a welterweight. He's not a bantamweight, so you're not going to be like... at bantamweight, you can't point out glaring holes. It's Sandhagen versus Yan. You know what I mean? Like, O'Malley's unranked at some points, and look at the way he does things. Like, you can't point out massive mistakes in striking and stuff like that at bantamweight and featherweight and other divisions like that. But at welterweight, there is going to be these problems with some striking. But I really liked his performance. I thought he was massively improved in the stand-up. A lot more respect with his hands he gained here against Masvidal. He gained that first before he went for the takedowns. And eventually, the takedowns came. And when they came, Usman couldn't keep Masvidal down for a second. Covington pinned him to the ground and smashed his fucking face in with elbows and punches. It was an amazing performance. I gave him round 1. Round 2's close. I have to watch it back to score that accurately. Masvidal was elbowing him to the back of the head. Covington was punching Masvidal to the back of the head. Eye poke from Covington. Glove grab from Masvidal. Cage grab from Masvidal. They were cheating back and forth. A lot of cheating on this card. And then round 3, Covington 10-8 in my opinion. Round 4, Masvidal could win it, but I still gave it to Covington because, again, he almost finished Masvidal on the feet in round 4, piecing him up against the cage. Boom, boom, boom. Masvidal shelling up like, oh, God, is this going to be it? Comes back, lands the shot. Still gave it to Covington in round 4. Round 5, Covington dominates again. Could have been a 10-8. Not really, though. I don't know. Very good performance by Covington. Dominant over 5 rounds. Wants Dustin Poirier next. And also, I listened to his post-fight interview. Wants to stay active. No damage, apparently. Very good. I'm really looking forward to seeing him stay active. I really want to see what's next. And I hope it's Poirier. Poirier's been responding on Twitter, retweeting some stuff. He said Bumba Clark when Poirier called him out. Fight him then. Fight him. It's a big money fight. There's no reason to duck this man anymore. They have ducked Covington and, oh, he's not a big draw. He doesn't bring any tension. No one likes him. He's a crotch sniffer. All this. He's a big draw. People care. People will watch. He can fight. He's got value because he's number 1 at welterweight. You could earn a title shot by beating him. There's no more excuses. Show up on the fucking night and fight Masvidal and fight Poirier. Fight Covington in a cage before I lose my mind, Poirier. How many more times does he have to insult your wife? He is painting out fan fiction scenarios where you are watching Conor McGregor fuck your wife. How much more must he do? He is claiming that your own daughter is McGregor's daughter. How much more must he do? Fight him now, you pussy. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Covington looked massively improved. Very great performance from him. Toodle pip, I'll see you later. Goodbye. Click that button up there. Toodle pip.